Hey guys, I hope you are having a great day. I wanted to make a quick video while I go for my walk to share with you why I think that focusing on glute strengthening and stabilizing your pelvis is one of the key things that could help you break free from piriformis syndrome and just that hip pain that is unrelenting, constant, and it just wouldn't go away. First of all, I know that so many of you, and myself included, experience so much fear around exercise in general, because when you are in pain already, you are worried that if you exercise or if you focus on strengthening your glutes, that you may be making your pain worse or it may trigger a flare-up. So that's something that I have struggled with myself, and I was so worried that doing certain exercises was going to just trigger piriformis pain. Could something like that happen? Yes, it could. If you do things too fast, if you focus on the wrong exercises, you just do a lot in a day, and also if you stretch too much, because if you do a lot of stretching, that could create some instability in your hips. And I always say that I actually only found relief when I was focusing more on strengthening. But is the answer to just completely avoid exercise? No, because that will only make things worse, and it will actually only make your glutes go weaker and weaker as the time goes by. So avoiding all exercise is definitely not the answer. That's not what we want to do. But what we want to do is have a plan that is structured in a way that won't flare up current conditions. And the reason why I say this is because I remember when I was first diagnosed with piriformis pain, the very first thing that the therapist told me was that I had a very weak glute med. There was an imbalance. My left glute med was weaker, and it was creating all this imbalance that led to this horrible pain that just won't go away. And of course, in the beginning of my journey, I was focusing so much on stretching, and I thought that stretching was the solution, was the answer, and that only led me to more pain. I was just constantly in pain. And the only thing that truly helped long term was strengthening and stabilizing my pelvis. So that's why I focus on it so much in all of my programs and also in my life. So how do you strengthen your glutes without flaring the pain? And I've already made so many videos about this topic, but I wanted to share some key tips that will help you today. The very first thing is you want to progress really slow. You don't want to be doing too many glute exercises. You want to focus on just 1 to 3 exercises and do them with slow, controlled repetitions. So nothing too fast, not too many exercises. Just choose 3 and do those 3 consistently. The second thing is you want to adjust your range of motion. So if doing an exercise, for example, a deep squat, triggers pain, change the range of motion so that you're not going very low. And you can do that with the rest of the exercises. So if you do like a hip abduction and moving your hip to the side too much triggers the pain, just take that movement and make it smaller. So small movements will be better for you because you will be able to activate the glute med, for example, without getting out into that range of motion that triggers pain for you. So again, number 2, adjusting your range of motion. The third tip is to do some core activation before your glute med, and that will help you to add additional stability to your pelvis before you even do your glute med, so that once you get to the exercises, you've already have that additional stability, and that will again create some more support for you and avoid compensation. So do 1 to 2 core activation, deep core activation exercises before you do your glute med and glute max activation exercises. The second tip is whenever you're doing a glute med activation, so anything with lateral movements, side to side, or hip abductions, make sure that you're not externally rotating your foot. That way you can focus more on the glute med and not engage the piriformis. If you do want to engage the piriformis, then you could externally rotate your hip. But overall, if you do want to minimize piriformis engagement, you want to focus on keeping your feet forward, straight. So when we are like mentally trying to focus on the glute med and keeping our feet forward, that really helps a lot. And the other thing is there are some great hip stability exercises you can do. For example, the hip drop exercise, those are really great because you're not really moving too much. like laterally or front to back, but they do help, they do activate the glute med without usually without triggering or engaging the piriformis. So those are things that you can do. And also I want to say, just choose the exercises that work for you. There are so many kinds of exercises you can do, standing, sitting on the floor, lots of variety. Just because one specific exercise is triggering pain or you can't do it doesn't mean that you have to force yourself to do it, or that you're missing out on something that this exercise is doing. If two exercises are doing the exact same thing, or they are activating the exact same muscle, but only one is okay for you to do without pain, just choose the one that is most comfortable. It's so important to choose exercises that don't trigger pain for you, because at the end of the day, you want to desensitize your body to those triggers. So you only choose the things that are okay to do. And again, just focusing on 1 to 3 exercises. And for glute exercises specifically, I recommend you do them twice a week so that you could leave enough time in between your routines for rest, recovery, and letting your body adjust and grow in strength. And I know it can be too much to keep in your mind when you just want to go ahead and do the exercises. And that was exactly the reason why I created the Strong Glutes program, because I've already incorporated all of these tips with so many others to help you strengthen your glutes without triggering pain, so that you could get pain-free, because it is so important to strengthen your glutes. And weak glutes are one of the main reasons of all of these hip issues we're seeing nowadays, including lower back pain, piriformis issues, pelvic SI joint pain, pelvic instability. So by focusing on strengthening your glutes, you could not only get relief and fix all of these issues, but also avoid them in the future. It's not about having a whole list of exercises to do, because we've already talked about you shouldn't be doing too many exercises at once. It's about having a structured plan, and at the same time that is gentle and made for people who have conditions like piriformis syndrome or lower back pain. So that is the whole goal of this plan. I will have the link below this video, so check it out. It is a new plan that I have created, and it's 6 weeks, and it literally includes my personal routines that I have been doing for the past many years. And as you'll see, the very first routines are very gentle. The first 2 ones are very focused on activation, engagement. So if you've got an issue feeling your glutes, like glute amnesia, then you will definitely reawaken and re-engage your glutes with those 2 routines. So I will leave the link below if you want to read more about the program. It will be open for the next week for early bird enrollment, and I really encourage you to check it out. Other than that, I'm going to continue with my walk today.